In today's episode of the podcast, I'm sipping on tea, talking about literary granny squares, sharing a potential future project, and answering a viewer email. Get cozy and let's dive in. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Wool Needles Hands podcast. It is a Sunday update day, and I'm here today with an update of sorts. It has been a light knitting week for me. It's been heavy in other areas, light in knitting, heavy in yarn dyeing, light in knitting, heavy in reading, and maybe some video gaming, and light in knitting, and that's okay because I've got some motivations for future knitting projects. My saw by top is an absolute dream to work on. I don't know, it's just been one of those light knitting weeks. So we're just going to chat about some things today. Get cozy, hang out with me for a while. If you have your knitting, pull it out, work on it while I chat with you about some various different odds and ends. I'm drinking some tea today. It is Trader Joe's winter wake up tea. It's like an English breakfast, but it has like Christmas spices. Like you can definitely smell cinnamon in there. It's really yummy. It's not sweet, but it's really nice and warm and cozy. And I don't know why, but I felt like that today. There's some oat milk in there. Mm-mm-mm. Oh yeah, that's just what the doctor ordered. So I'm drinking that today. Yeah, let's dive into some things. Now, I say this on these episodes. Was going to be a short episode? I don't have a whole lot to share with you. So we'll see. The famous last words. Honestly, it really is. But I do have some things to share. I don't know, it's been weeks at this point, but I was crocheting granny squares to correspond with books that I have read. I do not have all of the books that go with each of these granny squares. But that's what I was doing. And I think my intention was that I wanted to turn these into some kind of a bag, like a book bag where you stitch them all together and create a book bag. And I think that that would be awesome. However, the problem I'm having here is that, I don't really plan my books to be visually cohesive based on their covers. So like I could it doesn't matter what I'm reading, the covers won't necessarily all be this really lovely cohesive color design. And so when I create granny squares based on those covers, they're not necessarily going to go well together. Like you'll notice I have lots of granny squares. I think this is the Night Circus. This is oh my god, what is this? Oh, this was a novella. What was this called? This was a really good. Hold on, I can't. Hold on, gotta know. Hold on. This was Not a River by Silva Amata, I believe. I'll pop the covers up if I can find them. That's what this was. This was Strange Pictures by Uketsu. This was The Golem and the Jinni. Oh, such a good book. This was Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. Listen to me now. My husband and I host a booktube channel where we talk about the books that we're reading, so I'm not going to go into great deal here just because there's a place for this. I am going to be gushing and talking all about Isabel Cañas's new book that just came out because I just got it at Barnes& Noble today. I cannot tell you. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. This was Vampires of El Norte. Okay. This one is When Gods Die by C.S. Harris. This is a book I just recently finished not too long ago. This is not Rebecca. I can't remember. This is Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Okay, so you get what's happening here. The thing is that there's an awful lot of these that have black borders, and it's a lot of black, and so I don't really know what I'm going to do. What I think I need to do is I just need to chalk this up to like a long-term quilt project until I have enough of these of various different colors that I can kind of mix the black ones in and not feel like there's just so many black. I mean, this only represents 8 books. So I mean, I need to give it some time, right? I need to get more of these and go from there. So, hey. And another thing too, I mean, I could get really, you know what I could do? Because these black ones tend to be bigger than some of these other ones, which is obviously, for those of you out there crocheting, I mean, that's obviously a problem, right? They have to be the same size. I could border all of these with black. And then the blanket could itself be kind of a black blanket with little, I don't know, whatever. I'm just having fun doing it. It's kind of a fun way to wrap up reading a book, is to get excited about picking out some colors from my scraps and some of my yeah, just like odds and ends and pulling up what I need for crocheted granny squares to go with my books. Okay, there's that. So what I have done is I did 2 more today for 2 books that I have recently finished. You can hear me talk all about these books over on Good Books Lately, which is our book channel my husband and I host. So the one that I finished recently is Mistress of Rome. Kate Quinn, absolutely loved it. Look at this. It's really, hold on, I'm going to dial the brightness down just a little bit so that you can see what's going on here. There's like some of this green, this like herbal green right down here, which is what this is. But can we just talk about this color combination for a second? I've not woven anything in. Don't judge me. It's just the granny square exists, and that's what I'm trying to do here. Isn't that a beautiful color scheme? When I started doing this, I'm going to dial this back up down. Oh gosh, it is so bright whenever I do this. When I started putting this together, I was so taken by these lovely colors that I was thinking that I wanted to do a collection with these colors for the Fiber for the People yarn shop, because there's such really like lovely kind of desert vibes going on in here. And the running collection for summer for Fiber for the People in the shop is the Range and Valley collection, which runs through the end of August. And I'm going to be dyeing up more yarn for that collection this week, starting tomorrow. And I think I might hit on some of these gorgeous colors because I think they're lovely. I actually, before I talk more about that, I also want to show you my other one that I did. I recently finished The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Talk all about this. Not my favorite, even though I loved her first 2 books, but you know, what can you do? And this is the one I came up with for that. I gotta just keep, yeah. It's okay. I don't like the purple, but I mean, it's what I had on hand, and you just have to get close. You have to just get close with what you have on hand. So there's that. Okay. So those 2 books and their little granny squares. This one, it's dark in here again. Actually, you're just gonna have to put up with this for a little bit. So this one here, like I said, I want to turn this into a collection. I pulled out my little crewel embroidery threads by Eco or DMC Eco Vita's line. I like to pull these out if I ever want to create colorway collections and I just want to have something tangible to hold in my hand. So I have here 4 colors. And when I do a colorway collection for Fiber for the People, I like to have 6. And so I need to add 2 colors to this to create a full collection for the next Fiber for the People drop, which should be in the shop on Tuesday. I will be dyeing it tomorrow and it goes in the shop the next day. Okay, so I'm going to pull some from here. We're going to just see what they look like. I've been really, you know this already because we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I've been really into like these orangey red colors. I actually have one that I dyed recently called Alpenglow Ridge, which has sold out in the shop, but I'm going to be using this for, I might need to bring this back. I might need to bring this back. And if I can tie it to this collection, because it's a really pretty color. Well, it kind of makes me think like this. So let's imagine. Okay, that's 1. So that's 5 total colors. What if I then went with like, no, navy? No. Do you know, I love doing this. I absolutely adore doing this kind of thing. Okay, so wait, look at these. So we have gray and orangey red. Absolutely not. This is warm. These are warm. Obviously, this is the coolest tone, and then this is probably, I would say, my second coolest tone, and then this is the warmest tone, but these are all warm versions of what they are. This is a warm teal powdery blue, and this is a warm kind of herbal green, if you will. And this is warm here, and that looks really good like that. So it's making me wonder if I need a cool. No, I feel like the cool is what the problem is. Like, it doesn't need a cool. Wait a minute. How can what if I had like those? Sorry, I'm trying to keep it. How about we focus on, you know, this? What is even going on here? Thank you. That could be something. Oh, baby. I kind of love that. So it'd be more like this, maybe. Maybe, baby. Okay, yeah, I think that's great. So these two colors. Okay, that's gonna be a collection coming to the shop. I can't help it. It's just so pretty. I love those colors together in that granny square. They would make for a really pretty, like, stripe kind of motif on something. And I just think that's stunning. Thank you for helping me with that. We just workshopped my colorway collection coming, and I think that's great. So, okay, needless to say, one of the things I've been doing is doing a couple little crochet granny squares to go with my books, you know, as you do. What else do we want to talk about? You know, while we're here, because I know that the saw by top is my project right now. That's what I'm working on. Here it is. It doesn't look any different, even though I have made some progress. I've knit about 1.5 inches on the body. Real slow week for me, guys. Real slow week for me, but I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I'll have more to share. It's just I'm working kind of slow. I'm a slow knitter, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm fine with being a slow knitter, as should you feel fine if you are a slow knitter. Even if you're a fast knitter, it doesn't matter. Whatever kind of knitter you are enough. Okay, what I do want to do as it relates to my saw by top is I want to answer a question from a viewer. Somebody sent in a question that was related to my saw by top, and it was a relatively quick question that I can answer right here. And I was thinking it would be fun on these Sunday episodes to pull out a question email that I receive that is something I can answer in a short amount of time as like a small little segment of a main video, and do that. So if you have questions for me, things that are, I mean, whether they're long drawn out questions or quick questions that you just kind of want to get a quick answer for, email me. If they are a more involved question, I'll make a whole episode out of it. If it's a small question like this, something that I can answer relatively quickly, then I'll pop it into a Sunday update video. I think it's fun doing this. It makes me feel more connected to you sometimes if I can do it here, because I know other people share these questions or maybe don't realize they have the same question. So that's what's kind of what I'm doing now. So this is an email that came to me 3 hours ago, actually, and I want to answer it. It says, "Hi there, I love your videos and your casual yet informative approach. I'm also knitting the saw by top and I'm about to bind off. I'm jealous. The instructions say firm and sturdy bind off. Would that mean the basic bind off of knitting 2 and then passing 1 over? If so, would you recommend going up a needle size or 2? I look forward to your reply." Well, I want to see how this is worded, and if in the pattern she suggests a particular bind off. So I have my pattern here, and I'm just going to check as we're doing this, because okay, here's a picture of the saw by top. Everything has a rolled edge except for, okay, so everything rolls out or away from you except for the sleeve section, which they roll inwards, okay? Everything else, like your hemline and your collar, the roll is going to roll away from you. And so what you have to remember is you kind of want it to roll away from you. You don't want it to be so tight that it kind of doesn't know what to do and it can't completely roll because it's too tight in certain places. And so when it comes to binding off, even though it says a firm bind off, I would definitely not try to bind off tightly. I would just make sure that your bind off is stable and consistent, because you don't want to get to the end of this really lovely, somewhat drapey top and then do a really firm and tight bind off and have it make it very rigid at the hem, because it would kind of just ruin the whole aesthetic of the top in general. All right, so it says at the very end, "Then bind off all stitches knitwise, working rather firmly so that the finishing edge is nice and stable." That's exactly what it says here. That's all you need to do. You don't necessarily need to do this tightly, but you do want your edge to be nice and stable as it rolls out so that you don't get flaring or loosey-goosey kind of edges, I guess. Okay, so there's nothing here that asks for a specific bind off. what I would do, and a classic bind off is where you knit two and then you pass the first stitch over the second stitch, knit another stitch, pass the first stitch over the second stitch, and so on and so forth. And that makes a pretty nice bind off, and you're doing it knit-wise. When I bind off, I tend to bind off tightly. And so if I feel like I'm binding off in an area where I don't want it to cinch in too much, I don't want it to feel too rigid, I will go up a needle size, but I wouldn't go up 2 needle sizes. So this says, would you recommend going up a needle size or 2? If you are a tight knitter and you feel like the only way to compensate for binding off too tightly is to go up 1 needle size, then I would definitely recommend doing that. However, if you think that you can bind off with that typical bind off method and just relax your knitting a little bit, relax your tension a little bit, let things kind of just move across the needles and let the stitches cross over the other stitches kind of in a relaxed way, then just bind off with a normal needle, but just kind of try not to pull and tug on things too much. I think what this person is saying when it comes to binding off firmly isn't necessarily bind off tightly, but just bind off consistently and don't bind off too loosely. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, if you are a tight knitter, maybe go up 1 needle size, but do not go up 2 needle sizes, and try to see what happens if you bind off just relaxing your tension and see if that does a nice job. It's one of those things, binding off is frustrating because when you bind off, it's a hard thing to unpick. So you could say, well, I'll just go ahead and bind it off, and if I don't like it, I'll just tink back. Well, you can't, it doesn't work like that because you have to pull stitches off of other stitches, and it takes twice as long to pull out a bind off than it does to just tink back around. And so it's frustrating. So what I would do is I would bind off about maybe 3 inches worth or 4 inches worth of fabric and then see what's happening. Does it feel like it's kind of tightening the edge a little bit? Do you feel like it's kind of cinching in on itself? Does it seem pretty relaxed and kind of neat and tidy? And then go from there. If you notice that you are kind of getting like a narrowing out of the stitches as you bind off because they tend to be tight, then consider going up a needle size and then maintaining good consistent tension. There we go. That's the answer. That's what I would do if it were me, to answer your question. So if that helps, I hope it does. For those of you that are watching, if you have insight into this question, please answer down below. There are so many of you who know so much more than me. So provide your suggestion for this person down below as well. What would you do? Because I just always am worried a too tight bind off can really just make you not want to throw something on. It really can. So my thoughts. Thought I would answer that here. Thank you for the question. You know who you are. I hope you are watching. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, so my saw by top it's coming along, guys. It's coming along. We know Tayler in the summer. She's all over the place. Well, okay, before we get into that, I will tell you what I am excited about. And that is this. This is a swatch I just recently made. And I'm using Knitting for Olive mohair, or what do they call this? Knitting for Olive? Do they just call it mohair? It's the Knitting for Olive lace weight mohair in the Dusty Ruby color, and it's absolutely stunning. And I'm pairing it with the Fiber for the People signature yarn base. This is 100% merino rambouillet sport weight yarn. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's a 2-ply. This is it in my cake here. It's the colorway Alpenglow Ridge, gorgeous orangey red color. I'm plopping the two together because I love the way that a lovely mohair can kind of tone down maybe the brightness or the vibrance of a base yarn like this one. And I wanted to kind of do that with this combination here. And so I thought to myself, kind of inspired by a question that came in that I answered on a previous video about, can you search for patterns on Ravelry starting with your gauge? And I think about that often because I really think that backwards approach, I don't think it's backwards, but it is kind of, it deviates from what we usually do when we find a pattern and then we go get the yarn and then, whatever. This is like finding the yarn, getting your gauge swatch knit up, and then searching for patterns. I love that approach. It makes stash busting so much easier. So that's what I'm going to do with this. So I grabbed a needle pulled those two yarns together and I started making a swatch. And this is the fabric that I got with my needle. I don't know what's going on in the middle of this. I think it got a little tight. I actually think it's just more of like an illusion, to be honest. I don't know. But this is the color. This is the way that it worked out. And it's really pretty. I'm kind of wondering. No, I don't know. I like that. So this is the fabric that I have. This is my gauge swatch here. I'm going to be using this swatch, checking my gauge here because I would like to use this combination of yarns to knit a really lovely sweater. Something super wearable, always wearable. It has to be wearable, but something really cozy and simple, possibly with a lovely stitch pattern or texture. I'm not really sure, but I really love the way that this worked up. It's very pretty. Ugh, it's such a pretty color. Yeah, I don't know. So that's something that I have coming in fall. This will be kind of a motivation for getting certain projects finished, in particular my fleece sweater. So the fleece sweater is back there. When the sabai top is finished, I want to get progress on that fleece sweater. I would like to at least finish the sabai top, finish the body of that fleece sweater before I cast on to anything else. Like really cast on to anything else. And I have another project. It's not in here, is it? No, I don't think I put it in here. I have another project waiting that I need to put some work on. It's the Terrazzo sweater by Petite Knit. I cast it onto that. I actually have connected the front. No, I don't know. I have a little bit of the yoke finished there. So these are some things moving into fall that I want to prioritize. I don't want to just have them be cast off projects. I really want to prioritize them. I probably shouldn't have knit that swatch, but I'm so obsessed with that color combination that I had to do something. Yeah, I absolutely couldn't help myself. In terms of the video game stuff, because I have been playing my fair, I play video games. So those of you that are new here, I play video games and I'm gonna start sharing some of my video game conquests with you here. If you don't like that, you can skip ahead, or you can just hang around and relax and listen. You might realize that something piques your interest. So my husband and I, we are playing a game called Blueprints. I talk about this game. We have finished the first main objective in this game, and it is phenomenal. This game is just absolutely fantastic. The puzzles are incredible, but we still have so much more of that game to complete. I feel like that's going to be a game that will be with us for a while. It's magical. I love this game. It's a puzzle game. It kind of scratches the itch that that game Myst kind of gave back in the 90s. I don't know, it's better than Myst. Myst was really difficult and you really just couldn't get through a certain portion of that game. This kind of just has a similar vibe to it, I guess. It's a great story. But then we started playing a game called Mafia: The Old Country.
Bravery is not common in this world, and so loyalty, honor, obedience.
And this is a game that goes back to 1904 in Sicily and follows a character, your main protagonist, who in one way or another gets taken in by this mafia family. And in order to earn their trust, he starts doing things for them. But before he really gets involved with that, he discovers the Don's daughter.
Who are you?
Sono Enzo. I work here.
Right, very cliche. And he falls in love with her, and then they have this kind of secret relationship, and it's always there under everything, and he has to keep it very secret because who knows what would happen if the father found out. But he's, you know, a mob guy now. He becomes kind of like a mafioso for this family, and you play as this character. The story is fantastic. If you like mob movies or you like stories about the mafia and you're into video games, this is a really fun one. It's not an open world adventure game in the sense that you can just go off and traipse around and do lots of different side quests. It's pretty linear and story driven and great character development, and it doesn't take very long to complete. I think it all in, I think it took us maybe like 10 hours to complete the whole storyline, and it was great. It was great. It wreaked a little bit of emotional havoc on me at the end, but it was great. So that's what we've been playing. And we just downloaded the new Indiana Jones game today. Indiana Jones and the Circle of Is it the circle of life? I don't think so. It's Indiana Jones, and the Great Circle. This video game looks fantastic. I haven't gotten my hands on it yet. Brandon played a little bit this morning while I was working on my knitting, believe it or not, and it looked awesome. It's very much, if you're an Indiana Jones fan, you would love this game. If you also happen to play video games, this is going to be a fun one. So we're diving into that. Yeah, so between that and all the reading I've been doing and the yarn I've been dyeing and my kids starting their first week back at school, which went great, by the way, great first week back. It's been busy, just not as, knit heavy as it usually is, but that's okay. It is absolutely okay. And I think you guys are fantastic for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble about this. I hope you're having a great weekend. I will be back with more knitting. I promise. I'm going to get busy so that I can make some solid progress. And I'll be back next week. I have a midweek ramble coming next week with a topic that I think you're going to enjoy. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget, if you would like some additional content from me, there's a lot of that over on the Patreon. It's a great way to support the channel here. Head over there. There's actually a video that I just posted answering a question that you may share that I think is really helpful. And it's available to all members, both free and paid. Check it out, see if it's for you. And if you would like to stick around and become a paid patron, the support means so much to me. And I'm sure there's going to be something over there that you like. Until I see you guys midweek, happy knitting, happy making, happy whatever it is that you're doing. Take care, be well, and I will see you soon. Bye.